1 Kings chapter 16, verse 30. The rumble on Carmel. 1 Kings chapter 16, verse 30.
Today is November 1st,
Now Ahab, the
2022.
son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord, more than all who were before him.
Just remember who always wins, Steve.
December 27, 2018. Putting you in remembrance of what was said.
Robin, he's a liar.
Hey, Rob.
He's such a liar.
Hey, Henry.
He's going to be slain. Anyway.
Allow me to introduce you to the three main characters in this incredible Bible story.
Look, it's Peter, John, and James.
Almost.
Back on December 2nd, 2018.
I rebuke you. Robin, Henry, geez.
Hey, Rob, you gonna let
I
him?
rebuke you.
You gonna let him rebuke you like that?
He did. He didn't do anything about it.
Mind your own business.
SJD rebuking Robin is like Satan rebuking Christ. Going almost.
I just want to make it clear that all the things that he's ever said about me in the past, about being an agent, working for Derek Bros, working for the inside, none of that's true.
All of it's
It's
true.
not even close to true.
It's dead on,
But
Robin.
nothing he says is close to true.
But before, a few years back, you said,
Mind your own business.
SJD rebuking Robin is like Satan rebuking Christ. Even
going to show you why Robin is gang stalked. Okay?
Just remember who always wins, Steve.
so Tyler was admitting that I was gang stalked. In case anybody was wondering if gang stalking is a real thing or not. I mean, it comes from Tyler Mullen, who was right up there in that website with Steve and James. They were tying them both together. Tyler Mullen was the vicar of Jesus, Jesuits, that was in that website. It disappeared though. But Steve is in there still. So they still got that against you, Steve. People are going to think that that's true. Is the thanks and the gift going to be taken away this year? Like the gift of God being taken away, and then the thanks. So the truth would be taken away, and then the thanks in the people's YouTube channels that are no longer going to be getting currency the way that they've been getting it for the past 4 years since this video.
December 27, 2018.
A year and a half in on YouTube.
Are you ready for the king?
Now,
But Justin, you said one thing in the beginning, and then you said another thing. First, it's like, the spirit of Satan fighting the spirit of Christ on the YouTube platform. That's all it is. But then I'm a liar. So which is it? You need to clarify.
But I want to clarify this first.
Thank you, please.
I'm a liar from the beginning.
I'm a liar from the beginning. You hear that?
Huh?
His
What?
own words,
I wanted to clarify this first.
meaning him. I'm a liar from the beginning.
I'm a liar from the beginning.
That explains it. Because at least you're telling the truth now. That's the first step of being a liar from the beginning, is telling the truth. That way you can start.
But I wanted to clarify this first. I'm a liar from the beginning.
Are you
I knew
lying
that.
from the beginning too?
In this incredible Bible story. The first is Ahab, the king of Israel who did more evil than all the previous kings combined. The second character is Jezebel, Ahab's wife.
double talk. Stalk. the stall king.
Oh,
There.
oh.
First it was Johnny, and then it was Derek Bros, then it was Steven Bendanoon. Okay? I mean, when is it gonna end, man?
Well, that's true.
Even if you juxtaposition,
I don't know. I mean, today I started YouTube 42 or fourth month, second day, 2017. Today's 111, and it's 222. So it's 3 and 6. 24, 2040 days, and I don't know, Steve. You tell me. Is it going to end here? 25? Is it going to end 25, or is it going to end, or does it start to end in Philly on that day? Is it gonna start around? No, maybe on that day it would end, or once and for all. Or it has to go all the way to the 50, 40 plus 10 to the new year.
Elijah, one of God's great prophets, is the third character. His name translates as Jehovah is my God. While Jezebel was destroying the people in places associated with the true God, the Lord sent a man whose name testified that the Lord Jehovah was his God. 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 3. Get away from here and turn eastward, and hide by the brook Kerith, which flows into the Jordan. 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 1. And it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go present yourself to Ahab.
First it was Johnny,
And
and then it was Derek Bros,
I think I
then
accused
it
him
was
of it.
Steven Bendanoon.
Yeah,
Okay? I mean, when is it gonna end, man? When are your masters gonna quit paying you to be a dumbass? When are they gonna quit? I'll tell you when it quits. When the house of Cain is brought to its knees.
arm hanging over. Looks like he was brought to his knees. See that? It means humbling, where the serpent crawling.
And it'll quit. And if you don't know who the house of Cain is, well, you should probably look in Gematria, because Gematria tells you who the house of Cain is, because they were numbered from the beginning too. Don't you know that, Nephilim Prince?
how was I supposed to know?
You're stupid. You know why? Because you don't know that you're the Nephilim Prince.
You're
How am I
dumb.
supposed?
You're going to hell, whether you like it or
How am I?
so. Enjoy being here while you can.
666.
June 26, 2022.
Being here while you can, because eventually we have a seat that's reserved for you, me and the Father.
Mhm.
We've got a seat for you, and it's reserved for you, just for you. False prophet, right? False prophet Robin.
Write these things in a book. Write these things that you know to be true.
False prophet.
How unusual is that? See, the website's still up. They should take it down. They really should. Oh, and by the way, I never gave anybody permission to put my video on this fake
Work around
website.
7.
Everything on it's fake,
Just wanted
including My enemy.
Play what happened with Steve and his.
It's almost roundup time for the demon. It's an honor to be the devil's bait. The devil's bait.
Rounded up. Oh yeah, you will be. You nasty, nasty demon.
Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go present yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the earth. How did Elijah know God was alive and trustworthy? Hide and present yourself, the Lord said to Elijah. Those 2 phrases show us, like Elijah, how we can know God is alive. Number 1. Privately. Hide. Elijah is used as an example of the power of prayer in James chapter 5, verses 17 and 18. A man with a nature like ours, James said.
And it was Stephen bending noon.
Just
He was a regular guy. Elijah was a man of greatness, but he was also a man of weakness. But one fact redeems everything about Elijah. He was a man of prayer. And Ahab had called Obadiah, who was in charge of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For so it was, while Jezebel massacred the prophets of the Lord, that Obadiah had taken 100 prophets and hidden them, 50 to a cave, and had fed them with bread and water. And Ahab had said to Obadiah, Go into the land to all the springs of water, and to all the brooks. Perhaps we may find grass to keep the horses and mules alive. So Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. Now as Obadiah was on his way, suddenly Elijah met him, and he recognized him, and fell on his face, and said, Is that you, my lord Elijah? And he answered him, It is, I.
And the change from the $100 bill was $24.24, and that's Jesus. Okay.
Go, tell your master, Elijah is here. So he said, How have I sinned that you are delivering your servant into the hand of Ahab to kill me? As the Lord your God lives, there is no nation or kingdom where my master has not sent someone to hunt for you. And when they said, He is not here, he took an oath from the kingdom or nation that they could not find you. And now you say, Go tell your master Elijah is here? And it shall come to pass, as soon as I am gone from you, that the Spirit of the Lord will carry you to a place I do not know. So when I go and tell Ahab, and he cannot find you, he will kill me. But I, your servant, have feared the Lord from my youth. Was it not reported to my Lord what I did when Jezebel killed the prophets of the Lord? How I hid 100 men of the Lord's prophets, 50 to a cave, and fed them with bread and water?
You're going to want to know these guys because they're famous in the conspiratorial realm, Knights of Templar. And what happened is that he didn't make his destination and he was imprisoned. And during his imprisonment, basically John thought that he could get away with things. And that's where you get your famous story of Robin Hood. So where you get your famous story of Robin Hood, there are some movies that would show where Richard the Lionhearted is away on a trip to the Crusades or in prison. So then King John was able to take advantage.
For someone who lived by the bell of a church, it's an occupational name whose duties were responsible for ringing the church bell, or a town crier who used a handbell to draw attention. That's kind of significant if you're me, don't you think?
Then Elijah said, As the Lord of hosts lives, before whom I stand, I will surely present myself to him today. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. Elijah then went public.
And then it's like Same exact story when Christ took his ministry.
I rebuke you. God, heavenly tease. I rebuke you.
So remember back
On June 16, 2019, almost 3.5 years ago, so over 3 years ago it's been.
Elijah then went public. He set up a meeting with King Ahab. 3 years had passed since Elijah declared that there would be no rain. 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 17. Then it happened when Ahab saw Elijah, that Ahab said to him, "Is that you, O troubler of Israel?"
Ones are hard to find and expensive. This one here, like I said,
We're going to see each other face to face.
pass it up from that.
Almost 4 years ago.
Thanks for watching. Search our channel for more cool stuff.
And you're going to be
Later.
begging me.
If you want to find this item, click the link in the description area below the video.
You're going to be
You can
begging
also
me.
watch more videos in this.
Is hampering my ability to reach people.
Years ago.
That's why I only have 122, 123, 124 subs. Robin's got 20,000. Of course YouTube wants him to preach a defiled word. Of course he's going to continue to rise preaching his garbage, because it's what it is. His dates are going to come and go.
Is that
Stephen
you, O troubler of
this
Israel?
is what it is. His dates are
The
going to
king
come
was
and
still
go.
enraged and referred to Elijah as the troubler of Israel.
Just remember who always wins, Steve.
And a sin has been revealed.
From the beginning, too. Don't you know that, Nephilim prince?
And he answered, I have not troubled Israel, but you and your father's house have, in that you have forsaken the commandments of the Lord and have followed the Baals.
There it goes.
Here's the video that was deleted. Justice is coming. I got your number, Robin, and you are no king. You are a prince of darkness.
August 1st, 2019, over 3 years ago.
But Elijah was unfazed, telling the king, I'm not the troubler, you are.
Is hampering my ability to reach people. That's why I only have 122, 123, 124 subs. Robin's got 20,000.
1 Kings chapter 18, verses 19 to 40. Now therefore, send and gather all Israel to meet me on Mount Carmel, the 450 prophets of Baal, and the 400 prophets of Asherah, who eat at Jezebel's table. So Ahab sent for all the children of Israel, and gathered the prophets together on Mount Carmel. And
wants him to preach a defiled word. Of course he's going to continue to rise preaching his garbage.
Together on
because
Mount
it's
Carmel.
what it is.
And Elijah came to all the people and said, How long will you falter between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but of Baal, follow him. But the people answered him not a word.
Stephen, because it's what it is.
If my dates come and go and nothing happens, like I said, then it looks like I'm gonna still be up on YouTube until that happens. It's going to happen.
It's a prophecy that was fulfilled 3.5 years ago. I'm still here. I'm still being, confronted with somebody that's acting like King Ahab. So it just reminds me of the story, and I get the points about you remind me of King Ahab over there, saying I'm the problem because Elijah was coming just in the name of the Spirit of God in heaven, just the Spirit. Isn't that what all you guys come in to? Isn't it the same God?
Then Elijah said to the people, I alone am left the prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Therefore let them give us 2 bulls.
I would have to go all the way down here to find a bull. Why don't I just move it? Right here. Start with the tongue. There. His eyes pop out. And the mouth. And the hoofs.
Story behind Robin Hood. So there are historians that would try to trace him with 4 famous criminals or robbers, but to be quite honest,
Choose 1 bull for themselves, cut in pieces, and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. And I will prepare the other bull, and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. Then you call in the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God who answers by fire, he is God. So it was at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, Cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is meditating, or he is busy, or he is on a journey, or perhaps he is sleeping and must be awakened.
People aren't bad people. These are good people. These are good God-fearing people. You're wrong. You called all them Judases.
I don't know.
And you called me. Damn you to hell, Robin. You are a schmuck.
What happened to Judas before the Sadducees and the Pharisees could use him? Chapter 22, verse 3 of Luke. They entered Satan unto Judas. Then entered Satan unto Judas, surname Iscariot. Being the number of the 12, Satan entered into Judas, killing. And what did they have to happen to him? What had to happen? My brother Rob has been talking about this on his channel.
I was.
They had to use someone in his inner circle.
In my inner circle.
Someone that said
that they knew
him.
You.
So
circle that said that they knew me. March 9th, 2018. So this has been going on for quite some time, this house of people that I've been dealing with all on my own. And I just seem to have a bunch of enemies doing this, just talking for years on end. I have enemies because they have to watch.
Then many shall be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another.
Truth. Just sitting here.
Here he goes, reading it literally.
When you try to interpret stuff. That's what I meant by you're a liar and you're a blasphemy. I would never say anything like that if I don't know what I'm talking about. Now I know what I'm talking about. If God didn't say what it was, don't take the Bible literally. What? But
hey.
That is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You go ahead and look that word up, Robin, because I know you don't know what that word means. It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm looking.
You don't know what that word means. It's the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm looking at one right now. I know exactly what it means.
So they cried aloud and cut themselves, as was their custom, with knives and lances.
I have to take it literally, Robin. Because in Job it says that there is no gravity. That's how I know there's no gravity, because the air has weight to it. Very clear.
His private interpretation with his signals.
At the end of the 7-year tribulation, right when Christ comes from the clouds, all right? This is from
So into the airwaves.
Thessalonians, the one that they keep getting wrong. By the way, I'm not the only person that believes this, Robin. You don't do enough research. That's your problem. There are tons of people that have finally turned to knowing that the rapture is not true. I'm not the only person that believes this, Robin. You don't do enough research.
Well,
what's that, Derek? I'm sorry.
Awesome, man. So if you haven't gone over and checked out Robin's channel, Robin does some interesting work. He
December 12th, 2021, coming from Derek Bros. I do interesting work. That's all you can really categorize it as. It's just interesting, I guess.
He's followed me for a little while. He's had some things trying to figure me out, but I love him.
The end of the 7-year tribulation, right when Christ comes into the clouds. All right, this is from Thessalonians, the one that they keep getting wrong. By the way, I'm not the only person that believes this, Robin.
Their custom with knives and lances, until the blood gushed out on them. And when midday was past,
by the way, I'm not the only person that believes this, Robin. You don't do enough research.
You focus on finding Enki and Enlil and Enoch and Elijah and you've discovered some very realistic things.
That must have been from all that research I've been doing. I think it was, Robbie. You did a pretty good job.
You don't do enough research. That's your problem.
I was just like going back to this portion of it. The senior vice president of Paramount Pictures, living in this Truman Show, live Truman Show. Started 9 months after I did, exactly like as in a birthing canal. Unindoctrinated with Jeffrey Daugherty. You're gonna have to wait in line. I got to go see Stephen James first. Quite a busy guy. Jeffrey. Oh my goodness, Brother Nathaniel Clown. I remember seeing that guy before. He's very like that. Kind of like the same.
Brotherhood?
I don't even know.
I think I'm getting this now. You follow the teachings of Nazi Hitler.
Because he keeps denying he said it. Here is proof.
I think I'm getting this now. You follow the teachings of Nazi Hitler.
What was the? Did you deny it, Jeff? So 2 days ago, October 30th. I don't know what it is about Jeffrey Daugherty, but I never met you before. Let's see. I guess Cat got your tongue, huh? If you have a problem with me, call the show and stop trolling. So the first thing I got to do is, let me click on, make sure it's you.
Military gadgets are flying off.
Christianity. So do I want anything to do with anything that has to do with Christianity? No, thank you. No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that's you.
Not at all. I am really a deist. And I see an intelligent, motivating force throughout the universe and behind all of nature's laws.
Vose was just on Derek's show not too long ago, but like a month ago.
The siblings, if that's what you want to call them, that are in control of this entire world. Enlil and Enki. There are Elohim. You have El, the Almighty, the Creator. Then you have Elohim.
Wow, I don't know where the rest of it went. Because Steve, I know what it is. when SJD comments, he always deletes it. And then what you said in that thread is eliminated. Because you said, all right, well, have fun, girls, because I just thought I would see it down at Steve's house. He said that there's a Jeff down there, and he didn't deny that he didn't deny it was Jeffrey Darty. He just said he's helping Jeff. And I thought that you had a bike. He had like a crate on there. And I thought I would just go phoning home, like ET's or ET.
It's starting to get cold outside. Got down to I think 45 last night. We fixed up Jeff a bike. Yeah, that's Robin says Jeff. He's Jeff Duarte.
I mean, maybe.
Helping me here at the house. Well, I helped Jeff.
Okay, so Jeffrey Doherty is there? You didn't say he wasn't.
I just happen to have a new set of tires that fit this bike.
And also, certain people could be a couple different people. Like one person has this mask in this channel, and then has this mask in this channel, and has a cryptocurrency channel, and has that mask in a different voice. Some may not even show their faces, but they have another channel.
It had all rotted out tires. I put a basket on the back for them.
That's what I said, Jeff. I said I thought I would just see you when I'm down there and we can go bike riding.
And a rack, a new seat. We found this bike in the trash, and we fixed it all back up. Put some decent pedals on it. These are all bike parts that I've had. And then Jeff was picking from the trash, and he picked some other bikes, and we took all those bikes and we put together a decent bike for him. So now he's got a decent bicycle.
And Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Lord God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. Now when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, and they said, The Lord, He is God, the Lord, He is God. And they said, The Lord, He is God, the Lord, He is God. And Elijah said to them, Seize the prophets of Baal, do not let one of them escape. So they seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and executed them there.
Again, it seems like such murder and anger in the Bible when he slew him with the word that just came out of his mouth, because it was just fire. It was truth, and it burned them. They got consumed with it. That's all that really was.
Right? As a judge, I would deem you unworthy. Huh? How would that feel? Would that feel good, Tyler? No, I don't think it would feel too good to know that you pissed off one of the judges, in fact, the highest judge in the kingdom. The highest judge in the kingdom. And my Father says I should be exalted. My Father says I should be exalted amongst the heathen.
Not only did he spend a lot of time writing, like me, he did a lot of calculating too. David did.
The stage was set for a showdown on Mount Carmel between 850 Baal prophets and one God prophet.
Accusation against, but said, they're not bringing the body of Moses. They're not bringing railing accusation against, but said, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, "The Lord rebuke thee."
You know what? You had it right the first time around.
You did.
You did. And I almost feel sorry for you. Almost. I rebuke you, Robin, Henry, Tease. I rebuke you.
As the world turns. This portion brought to you today by delicious mountain-grown Folgers. Mountain-grown for rich flavor. And
digging was done. Wow. I hope you're all buckled up. I hope that you have your popcorn. I got my hot tea ready to get into this.
Robin's got 20,000.
If I could walk on water, would you believe then? Okay, Kanye. Didn't he walk on water?
Yep, that verse seemingly walking on water with his kids during his Sunday service.
It feels good to be me. You know why? Because I'm king. Whether you want to believe it or not. Oh, by the way, this is king. King. Whether you want to believe it or not.
See,
king.
who's telling him?
Believe it or not.
That
Back on June 3rd, 2019. He was telling me he's king, so all right. Fits the Ahab role.
The stage was set for a showdown on Mount Carmel between 850 Baal prophets and one God prophet. How long will you waver between two opinions? Elijah challenged the audience. If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him. Here was Elijah's day.
They don't believe you, Steve.
What do you want to believe?
They don't believe you. And he's like, then he comes on stage like this.
So, Memorial Day, everybody's out enjoying themselves. The sun is shining. I figured I'd sing a song.
Yeah.
Because I'm king, whether you want to believe it or not.
Have a competition. Let the God who is God respond with fire from heaven.
Fire.
That was a reasonable test. Baal, the storm god, should be able to send down some lightning. Elijah gave them every advantage before mocking their futile efforts. Baal's prophets spent hours pleading, shouting, and cutting themselves, but he didn't respond. Then Elijah prepared the sacrifice before asking God to show the people his glory. Fire fell and consumed the sacrifice, the water, and the altar as soon as he said his prayer. People fell to their knees, yelling, "The Lord, he is God!" So Ahab went up to eat and drink. And Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. Then he bowed down on the ground and put his face between his knees and said to his servant, "Go up now, look toward the sea." So he went up and looked and said, "There is nothing." And 7 times he said, "Go again." Then it came to pass the 7th time that he said, "There is a cloud, as small as a man's hand, rising out of the sea." So he said, "Go up, say to Ahab, prepare your chariot, and go down before the rain stops you." Now it happened in the meantime that the sky became black with clouds and wind, and there was a heavy rain. So Ahab rode away and went to Jezreel. Then the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, and he girded up his loins and ran ahead of Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. But Elijah, drenched, dashed down the mountain. He demonstrated that God is alive and well.